You and I have unfinished business.
Oh? And what's so stinking about it?
The moment I capture the feeling, zero to start.
I think this just might be my masterpiece.
You know, we're sitting on 4 million pounds of fuel, one nuclear weapon, and a thing that has 270,000 moving parts built by the lowest bidder. Makes you feel good, doesn't it?
It really feels like it's out of some sort of action movie.
Yeah, definitely plenty of action in this.
4 million pounds
I
of
almost think we
fuel.
might have done this before, but it felt so appropriate we had to do it again.
Moving parts.
Steve Buscemi says this.
Is it The Rock?
Same director.
Same director. Oh. The other one of his movies that's in the collection.
Armageddon, because I thought
Armageddon. My arms are
it was
getting
the end of this
tired.
podcast, but we're gonna strap ourselves back up into podcasting sphere. Welcome back to the Average Joe's Movie Clubcast. It's Justin.
And I'm Joey.
There's been all kinds of circumstances and procrastination, but after nearly a year, we're back to talk about some movies with a Kubrick classic, holiday classic, I should say, Eyes Wide Shut from 1999, and Darren Aronofsky's, very emotionally uplifting sports biopic, The Wrestler from 2008. Just kidding.
Just as a heads up, we are going to discuss our full thoughts on these films. So if you've not seen one of these movies that are pretty old, skip ahead to avoid any spoilers.
Make sure to spread the word. We're back. If you enjoy listening to us banter on about movies, share the link, chat with us online. Yeah, let's get this thing going again. So yeah, we are back. For the longest time, my laptop was down, so that was kind of the excuse I was giving myself. Wasn't really wanting to watch a whole lot of movies, watching a lot of wrestling. But yeah, why not get this thing back on track? Yeah, how's things been with you during the hiatus?
So I think it's hilarious because I picked The Wrestler, back in, I don't know, was it like February or something? And this was when
I think April,
I was watching a lot of wrestling. You weren't really watching wrestling. And now
none.
it's switched to where you're watching all sorts of wrestling and I'm really not. I watched some clips here and there, but the switching to having to pay $30 a month for ESPN kind of out of nowhere to be able to watch the pay-per-views just kind of left me with like a sour taste in my mouth. So I was just like, you know what? I'm not watching WWE and AEW. While I like some of the wrestlers, I don't generally like their product overall. And so I just haven't been watching a lot of wrestling. I did want
Mhm.
to go to that indie show, the MLW show that was down in Charleston near you. I unfortunately just couldn't, get the time off. I started a new job a few months ago, like an actually decent job, but it's like 2.5, 3 hours away. I would have had to leave work early and either take the whole next day off or come in, super tired, getting home hella late. So I just couldn't go. But I think you went, right? The one with
I watched it on YouTube. I didn't find out about it till that day. I'm gonna go to a smaller show that's in like a civic center arena coming up in a couple weeks. Yeah, so looking forward to taking my boys and some of the dude friends in my life. Yeah, go see some wrestling. Looks like
that would be
yeah,
really
comeback.
cool. I haven't been to a wrestling show in a little while now, but I mean, I've every time I go, I have a lot of fun. Actually, I think the last one that I went to was the AEW Collision debut up in Greenville. Me and my buddy went. We actually were on the hard cam side, so like Ricky the Dragon was there refereeing for Ricky Starks' match, and Ricky Starks now is in NXT. He's the NXT champion. So it's really cool to kind of think back on that we were there on TV for the debut of that program. So I actually almost had my phone get run over while going to that event. I had it in my back pocket, and we were walking downtown to go get some food, and we were running, through the crosswalk, and the phone just bounced out of my pocket, and a car actually drove over my phone, but it didn't hit it with their tire, like it was in between the tires. So luckily my phone didn't get ran over, but it was pretty scary at the time, at least as far as, losing my phone, 2.5, 3 hours from home. So.
But yeah, just kind of worked on de-stressing my life the last year. Kind of quit the Cub Scout leadership. That was just driving me absolutely bonkers. Still working out a lot, and trying to limit the drinks and stuff, just to try to keep the weight in check. But yeah, just kind of figuring that out. Kind of put on a lot more muscle mass on top of my body, so trying to figure all that out. So it kind of feels like I'm chubby again. It's just my arms are make the shirt a little more snug, that kind of thing. So I guess we can watch any other life conversation you want to jump into?
I mean, just I got the job, this new job that one of my old friends I would run into here and there around town, but hadn't really talked to a lot. And then he got into Magic the Gathering, and it just kind of was a thing where they needed somebody, and I really hated what I was doing. I was door dashing at the time, and
All right.
I was worked 7 days a week and couldn't make my rent. I've moved. I'm in a much smaller and cheaper place. I'm by myself right now. Which I think some of that also, between the stuff going on with you, and then I had all of that stuff going on, we probably would have ended up on hiatus anyway. Because I just was not in a super good mental place. And I was telling you before we started, it's like, if this sounds weird or kind of off, I apologize. I don't even have a desk, so my mic is kind of hanging in a weird place. We're kind of just hodgepodging this together to make it happen. So, but outside of that, no, I actually, now that I've got this job, I work Monday to Friday. We're recording this the day before Thanksgiving. I got off at 12 o'clock today. I'm off Thanksgiving Day. I'm off Friday. Coming from retail, this is a dream. And I get to work with a bunch of good people. So I'm enjoying it. So I think that's really about it. We moved in the rain. That really sucked. But outside of that, yeah, no, just I have watched a decent amount of movies. I'm on pace to hit 200 total movies this year. Not 200 new movies, but 200 total Letterboxd logs, which is you were, the last couple of years I was down a lot, and you were so impatient about getting to 2001 that you forced it. And I'm past 2001 now, which actually, thank you, because then I didn't have to figure out and watch that trash movie. Yes, if you've listened to our podcast, you know how I feel. I understand that's a bad take or a hot take, but I don't like Kubrick, and I didn't like that movie. So, but thank you for making me not have to worry about that at 2001.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, at least, I mean, name of the game with the podcast, I guess, let's give it a try. And I think we've definitely evolved our conversation over some of the cinema that makes you want to vomit. Whenever I want to start discussing every minor bit of the rape scenes in Dogville or something.
I mean, look, I was about to say, I think I would rather watch Kubrick over LVT. At least Kubrick has some sense of what's happening. Lars is sorry, cinephiles. He's a fucking
Does
hack
that
and he's
hurt? Let me cut you
terrible.
again a different way.
Like, I don't know. His movies they're just. I don't think there's anything redeeming or entertaining about them, and I'm bored and want to kill myself. With most of Kubrick's movies, there's at least something entertaining somewhere, sometimes. Like, but yeah, we'll discuss that more as we're going to talk about a Kubrick movie. So, but
Yeah, exactly.
you haven't watched a lot of movies this year, Justin. So of what you've seen, it doesn't have to be a 2025 movie, but so far, what you have watched this year, what has stood out, like has shocked you or disappointed you, or would say is your favorite?
Yeah. So we got Stranger Things coming back tonight. Kiddo's really excited about that. I'm not sure if we talked about any Stranger Things on the podcast. I've seen all the way through it now, so it was a pretty good show to catch up on. Yeah, I think that's probably what I did when we first started our hiatus. I was more into watching like some different shows. What did I watch? Me and Tanner watched a lot of Lost. We've watched through, gosh, Stranger Things. Yeah, a couple shows out there. So got into that, and then we were on a road trip to Great Wolf Lodge, and the Mr. McMahon documentary got recommended to me on Netflix, and so I binged through all that, and that really kind of freshened up my memory of the wrestling world, and kind of introduced me to some elements that I missed, like the Ruthless Aggression era, and various superstars that's come across, like CM Punk or so forth. So and then I really got into, like, I think it was about Mania 7 where I was like, yeah, I've never really seen this one, and I wanted to dig in and kind of watch through that, and I'm all the way on 39, I think 39 or 40. I'm on Roman versus Cody 1. So I think that's
Okay,
39.
that's 2 years ago, I think. Yeah. I mean, good match. Pretty good pay per view. The ones during the pandemic era, or the one, how many ever there were not good, just because there was no crowd, which kind of sucked. But
Yeah, that was kind of a
yeah.
weird mania to not have that like back and forth, and then to like kind of fake the back and forth at times. So it was kind of funny. And then the year after, they were in Tampa and people had like masks. So yeah, it's kind of interesting to see that little snapshot of history. Um
um, I had intended to rewatch Stranger Things to get ready for the new season that's coming out, but I just haven't. I did start the Witches of Mayfair back in October, but I haven't got back around to finishing it. But what I watched, I enjoyed. It's Anne Rice and Alexandra Daddario, so she's nice to look at. I would say though, as far as movies go, well, bruh, Sinners was aces. That blew me away. I was really happy with that.
have you seen Weapons yet?
I have not seen Weapons yet. Um, I don't know. Halloween, like spooky season, was kind of strange for me. Between was when we were moving, and like, so I was watching movies by myself, and like I watched all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and like most of them are not very good. Um, so yeah, but no, Sinners, man, that was some good shit. I really liked like Thunderbolts. Um, I liked the new Fantastic Four, not as much as everybody else, but I liked it. It had some differences to it, but it was still that Marvel, the MCU like formula where no one's like really in danger or anything. And I haven't seen the new Superman, but to be fair, I didn't see Superman Man of Steel till like this year. So, I've actually watched like a lot of comic book superhero movies this year, just ones I had missed, like of the ones with Nick Cage, Ghost Rider, and that kind of stuff. Like I've watched a lot of movies this year, but I haven't watched like a lot of like good movies that weren't rewatches, like to show our friend Brooke. But um, I mean, yeah, I've just watched a lot of mindless action movies, honestly.
Yep. Yeah, that's kind of how I was describing the wrestling. It was kind of like watching like kind of like trashy TV because it's just it's just disposable and it's kind of entertaining at the same time. And I listen to a lot of like the podcasts about it in the background too, so getting a lot of like insider knowledge. I kind of I'm enjoying that kind of inside baseball look at it. Um, Loki season two was one of the things that Tanner really wanted to check out with me. Super did see Superman. Had a pretty good time with that, watching that on vacation. Just very solid action crowd pleaser. MCU stuff. Checked out Thunderbolts. Wasn't into that a whole lot. They were really into the characters there, and it wasn't clicking for me. Fantastic Four, enjoyed that a lot more. Pretty simple, kind of like family story, and then you get Galactus in there, so it's kind of neat to finally see that put to screen, and it was done pretty well, I thought. What else MCU wise has come out? I feel like there was one more. Was there?
I feel like there was one more that I cannot think of right now. I know I had to catch up, so I mean, I watched like Wakanda Forever and the Marvels, and like I had to catch up to be able to watch. Oh, Captain America
Okay, the Brave New
with
World
Red
one.
Hulk.
That was much earlier. I think that was back in like the February time frame. So pretty entertaining. Um,
I liked
Happy
that
Gilmore
more than
2
I
came
think.
out over the summer. That was quite the romp.
Say what?
Happy Gilmore 2 came out over the summer.
I still need to watch that. But like I
It was
go
all
like
right.
it's like 2 hours long, and I know that there's just like it's just 8 million cameos. Like I want to see it, but I feel like at this point also like we couldn't we just re-release the first one or something? I don't know. Speaking of things being released though, Dogma Blu-ray did just go up for pre-order. I already had to pre-order that because after
Nice.
that's been in hell for so many years, you can finally get it again because of Harvey
Oh,
Weinstein's a piece of shit.
Miramax. Okay.
Yeah. Well, Harvey Weinstein himself directly had that one. Um, and then also, John Woo's filmography is also out of his Hong Kong filmography is out of Rights Hell and Hong Kong now. So that's why you probably haven't seen it, but it's like his movies are on like Tubi and Prime and all sorts of stuff now because they're no longer owned by like a cereal company or a shoe company or whatever the fuck owned them, which was really weird.
Strange. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see other highlights this year. Let's see Minecraft. That was, took kids to see that one. Lilo and Stitch. Disney remake. Actually, the How to Train Your Dragon live action remake was done pretty well. So that's floating out there on Peacock, and we went to How to Train Your Dragon World over the summer. So we even got the theme park version of that.
Nice. I have
F1
not.
with
Well, I did
Brad
see
Pitt.
Minecraft, but I haven't seen any of the rest of them.
Yep. So yeah, just mostly I guess the blockbusters. Caught a few scary movies. We rewatched Midsummer and The Shining during scary movie season. Yeah, rewatching Midsummer really kind of ignited my film brain again a little bit. So did a little bit of writing on that, and yeah, we promised to talk about Kubrick and Aronofsky. So. I guess I should make a note of all these interruptions. 2:34. Wife. Annoying. Leave.
Hey
Okay.
man, well, maybe you should take my advice that I gave to Tom Cruise about his his situation, and we're going to talk about later. Maybe you should just do
I
more of
try.
that.
I try. All right. You want to get in talking about these feature movies?
Yeah, let's get to it, fam. I got fucking Magic to go play, so let's do this.
All right. The Wrestler is a 2008 American sports drama film directed by Darren Aronofsky, written by Robert Siegel. The film stars Mickey Rourke and Marissa Tomei. Rourke plays an aging professional wrestler who, despite his failing health and waning fame, continues to wrestle due to financial hardships in an attempt to cling to the success of the 1980s, his heyday. He also tries to mend his relationship. Okay, so we'll get into all that stuff. So, story details. All right, some fun facts. Apparently, Axl Rose donated the use of Sweet Child of Mine because this was a low budget film. So that's kind
And
of.
he's personal friends with Mickey Rourke, or else he would not have, because
Oh,
Axl is an asshole. Yes, he
okay,
is
that makes a
personal
lot more
friends with
sense.
Mickey Rourke.
See, Aronofsky revealed that Mickey Rourke was the first place to play Randy, the Ram Robinson, but the studio wanted Nick Cage. Aronofsky fought to have work as the Ram and ultimately won out. And apparently,
Oh my
Hulk Hogan had a
God,
dream where he thought he was going to be in the movie.
man! Like Nick Cage. Like, I ain't gonna say nothing about the man bad. He's a good actor. He's also a terrible actor, and I could not see him playing that role. I don't know if he could have been old man yoked enough, if you get what I'm saying, because Mickey Rourke is not a young man, but he was still
Hmm.
yoked, but he looked like you used to be really yoked, but now you're still only kind of yoked, kind of thing. So yeah,
Hmm.
no, I couldn't see Nicolas Cage in that role. That seems preposterous.
The film reportedly moved Rowdy Piper so much that he broke down and cried after the screening.
I can see
Perhaps.
that.
And the old wrestling photos of the Ram in his heyday are actually doctored of former wrestler Larry, Lex Luger. So
Okay,
let's see.
okay, I could see that, because that was, Lexa was doing pretty well into the mid and late 80s and early 90s. So speaking of Lex Luger, have you kept up with what's going on with Lex Luger?
Well, he's paralyzed, right? But he's working
Well,
with DDP.
he's been working with DDP, and now he is less paralyzed. Like, he was standing decorating his own Christmas tree and has started to walk and everything. So,
Yeah.
um, and
Yeah,
but
I heard
he
him talking on a podcast, and yeah, he was talking about how devout and stuff he was. So yeah, Lex was one of my early favorites.
was it Chris Van Vliet's podcast?
Yeah, I listened to a lot of him.
When I was still driving, I listened to CVV all the time. I think he's probably the best wrestling podcaster. That was a good interview with Lex, but as someone who is not devout, I was like, Lex, I get it. You're a Christian. You don't have to tell me every 30 seconds you're Christian. You were a Christian 30 seconds ago. I get it. But I get it that that's an important thing to his life and to his story. So, like, I understand why, but it was one of those things where I was like, bruh, like we get it. But anyway, I
Yeah,
do think it's really good that he obviously all the drugs and shit a long time ago, but to be able to go from not being able to walk to he can walk, and he's getting some semblance of his life back, is a really redeeming story. And I feel like more people should be like Diamond Dallas Page, and more people should be doing DDY.
coming from I guess a more recent former Christian, yeah, they kind of have to keep convincing themselves of what they want to believe. So, anyways, not a religious movie. All right, let's get into talking about this movie. So yeah, like we were saying, the hiatus perfectly played into me getting caught up on wrestling. No, way more. It was funny. We were mentioning some of our favorites, and I was mentioning Brock Lesnar, and you mentioned how boring he was. And then what's the giant black dude? Is it Osmos or something?
Oh, yeah, yes, yeah. Well, I was about to ask which one, but if you're talking about the 7'4" guy, yes, almost.
Almost okay. Yeah, I saw the squash match he did with Brock, where yeah, basically Brock like sold for like 10 minutes, and then just a couple Germans and F5 later, and it's over. And so yeah, that kind of played exactly into that stereotype of his matches that you had mentioned.
And the thing is when he was younger, before he went to UFC, he did more stuff. He came back from UFC, and they wanted him to fight like an MMA guy, and then he did
Hmm.
Suplex City on John Cena, where Suplex City started, and he suplexed him like 30 times, and then that's what all of his fucking matches became. On top of all of the shit that he allegedly has done with Mr. McMahon to people in the office, and
Yeah, like
amongst other
trafficking
shit.
allegations and stuff.
Yeah.
So. Yep,
So
that's out there too. So, um, I saw this one. Okay, yeah. So the first time I saw this was with my dad. The only thing I remembered about it was like the deli scene towards the end, and then that finale. So I guess I guess I just didn't remember it being that like I remember enjoying it, but not like, oh gosh, I have to get, like Darren Aron. It's kind of hard to get back to a Darren Aronofsky movie. They're kind of downers.
also, I think, so I watched this movie and I was still in like 2008. I would have been 23. So I probably watched it at 23 to 25. And then watching something that's about someone aging and questioning their life and their life decisions at 25
Yeah,
versus say 40, there's, obviously I'm not an aged out wrestler or anything, but there is some,
right.
you have learned some shit and seen some shit and you're like, okay, I can connect with this a little bit more than when you're younger.
Yeah, the perspective, yeah, in some of these movies. I mean, shoot, the first time I watched Eyes Wide Shut, I wasn't married, and man, it's a world of difference after being hitched a while and seeing that show. So yeah, I totally get that. All right, into the plot a little bit, or some of the visuals. I really like the opening credit scene. Flashing through all those old wrestling magazines. It seems like a lot of like the pillars of like the wrestling world really got started with the magazine scene between what
Oh, and the music in
Heyman
that
and Cornette and
and the music there was fantastic. The music in the whole movie was fantastic. It was fucking just 80s rock and hair metal gold.
okay. That opening scene there in like a gym auditorium show, so definitely much lower scale stuff that he or performances that he's doing. So probably obviously not as big of payouts and stuff. You can tell he's living out of a van whenever he's on the road and a trailer back at home. Um, but I am looking forward to seeing one of those kind of shows coming up in a few weeks in Anaheim. Let me see what the name of the do you remember what I told you that kind of show was?
I don't remember what you said it was now.
Let's see.
Um
It's a combination of NWA and TNA. Mary Mania Live Pro Wrestling comes to Hanahan. Yep.
okay,
Putting it on
yeah,
the
so it'll
card.
have NWA people and TNA people. So that's pretty
OS OSCW, Old School Championship Wrestling.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, WWE doesn't even come to Charleston anymore, and I think the closest they'll get is like Charlotte, and it's like $100 for nosebleed seats. So yeah, to pay
Well,
$80 to
they
have the whole
used
family
to
be pretty close to ringside. It's pretty nice.
um they
Yeah,
come to
back in the house show
Columbia and
day.
like Greenville. They come to like Columbia and Greenville, which is, it's a pretty good trek for you. But yeah, now
Yeah,
that it's TKO, they have jacked up the prices. Like, say what you will as far as being a sick pervert for Mr. McMahon, but at least when he was running the company, he understood, hey, this is families coming to see this. Yeah, ringside is expensive, but your other seats aren't thousands of fucking dollars for pay-per-views and shit like they are now. They're
yeah, it's
they're going
nuts.
to price themselves and cause this bubble that we've been in for the last few years where wrestling has been on this big high, no matter which promotion you're watching, whether it's TNA, AEW, WWE, New Japan, whatever, they're going to cause it to burst because they're just going to price themselves out of it because they're greedy sons of bitches. But that's a different story.
Um, yeah, it kind of was so like with watching all these wrestling documentaries and stuff, you got Jesse Ventura, who back in the 80s, he was like, yeah, we got to unionize, get these guys taken care of. I mean, they're busting their butts for, bucks each night and, you know, uh, no no like, long-term compensation plan. And yeah, you can really see the effect of that here throughout this movie as see, the life of a rundown ex-wrestler.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, go back to what Iron Sheik said. Fuck Hulk Hogan because he was the one who helped nip that shit in the bud.
Ratted him out.
So
Yep, living out of his van, trying to work more hours retail. We all know how miserable that can be. Um, but it was nice getting brought into like the community of that locker room. You see him like talking through a match, and he's like, "Oh, just call it in the ring or whatever, bro." And they get like a gig set up where it's the little razor blade and his wrappings
Wrist
to
base.
help him get some color as they I think they take off a turnbuckle and he headbutts the turnbuckle, so to help sell that a little better, they get some color. One thing that really freaked me out is I was watching one of these WrestleManias and they have the Hall of Fame and they put this one guy in the Hall of Fame and they showed his forehead and it was like fucking like cut all to hell. It was like,
Oh
my
yeah,
God.
there's especially people of color, like they show the scars really bad. So did Dusty Rhodes. Like if you looked at Dusty Rhodes before he passed away, his head was all fucked up. I think Abdullah the Butcher's is all fucked up. Devon Dudley, his is all fucked up just from where they have bladed or gigged, whatever term you want to use, so much. So
Yuck. Yeah, called in the ring to the Mohawk guy. He had kind of a cool look to him. A little Sheamus-y looking. You a Sheamus fan at all?
fight night, banger after banger after banger, fella.
That match that Gunter, Sheamus, and
Drew Mac.
yeah, that three-way for the
Oh, that was a big
Intercontinental.
hoss fight.
That was a good one.
No, Gunther. Yeah, that was a big hoss fight.
All right. Yeah, watching wrestling night after night after night, you really start to like the signature gestures. I guess if you're watching it like week to week, maybe like you kind of enjoy those very long-winded gestures more. Like with Triple H, he walks out to the ring all slow and then he spits the water and he's flexing and it's like, okay, fast forward. Let's get this show on the road. So it's funny to see
but that's like his iconic, like people
that's
still
him.
just drink the bottle of water and want to spit it out, or Randy Orton's arms in the air, or
Yeah.
It's clobbering time. I mean,
Yeah, and then and in the movie, I think Randy does some kind of like taunt whenever he's about to do
that
his
in
jump
before
off the
his
rope.
finishing move, he does the Rams, and I mean, yeah, I mean it's all part of the show, baby, all part of the show.
Yeah, and so yeah, coming back to wrestling and because obviously when I was a kid, I thought it was real and I was into it, and I think when I finally came around to realizing it was a show, it kind of was where I lost interest around WrestleMania like 15 or so when Stone Cold took the reins. For some reason, I wasn't a big Stone Cold guy. Maybe the Cyclops square kid and wants to. That sounded very weird. Okay, so Cyclops is a very square character, so I'm comparing myself to Cyclops.
Yes, you didn't seem like the rebellious type that would want to fight your boss.
Yeah, the Wolverine fans
like
Stone Cold, and yeah.
I mean, also Stone Cold also is very redneck.
True,
let's be real, and you're not very redneck at all. But I mean, he resonated with a lot of people who are like, "Yo, fuck the power and fuck my boss." So,
and I like him a lot more now than I did. But yeah, I guess him like coming up and beating Bret Hart or Shawn Michaels, those were my heroes at the time. I guess that kind of put me off.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Bret Hart beat him, and that's what made him. They did that double turn in the
it's a really good Mania match 13,
and that was the first thing that like really propelled him. And then obviously the King of the Ring with Jake the Snake, and Austin 316 was born, and all that jazz. But
yeah, I like those King of the Ring pay-per-views. I need to get back into watching those. Okay, so get back into the plot. Randy's very lonely. He spends most of his time at a strip joint trying to, blur that line between stripper and girlfriend as he kind of makes it's Marissa Tomei, right?
Yeah, Marissa Tomei. And for right now, I cannot remember her character's name. But I mean, yeah, like I think you see her and she's being really friendly to him, and in more than just he's just a customer, like.
Yeah, he's a regular.
She
takes care of him. Doesn't want to blur the line, but is kind of somewhat tempted, I guess.
Well, and she's not portrayed to be old as a normal person, but she's old to be a stripper or whatever. You even have the scene where the people are calling her old, and he comes and like chases them off, and
I forgot about that scene. Okay.
Yeah. I
Okay.
will
So she
say,
has her hang-ups too.
yeah, I do want to say that, obviously, expect this from a Darren Aronofsky movie, but they spent a lot of time and care, like, on the actual wrestling part, like trying to get, where they showed how people blade and showing talking about calling it in the ring and trying to make the moves look real. And there weren't a ton of real wrestlers, at least not super famous wrestlers, but there were some. And we're about to talk about, as you have it here, the ECW style match was actually a real wrestling promotion called CZW, Combat Zone Wrestling, and he fought that guy, the Butcher. That is a real wrestler, the Necro Butcher, and he is one of those hardcore death match morons. So
Yeah.
that was some real shit. The guy at the end who played the Ayatollah was a real wrestler, Ernest the Cat Miller. And then in
Was
the
that
middle,
R-Truth, the one guy he was talking to in the locker
and he
room?
talked to R-Truth in the middle of the movie. Yes, and Ring of Honor, where they did the last match, is a real promotion. Well, it was a real promotion for a long time, where a lot of big names have come through: Punk, Joe, Bryan Danielson, Tyler Black, or Seth Rollins. A lot of people, lots and lots of people went through Ring of Honor, but now Ring of Honor is part of AEW, and it's kind of like I don't want to say their lesser promotion, but it's AEW is obviously AEW's main focus. But so I did appreciate this time around seeing that they took the time to put that kind of thought and time into trying to make it authentic as fake fighting can look.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, in preparation for this next like death match style kind of thing, he has the guy in the locker room. He's getting some roids and painkillers, so that's ultimately you got all these wrestlers dying so young because they get so hooked on these opioids, and they're obviously juicing. Big issue back in the day.
Yeah, I think that is one of the things now, at least in the WWE, and I think in AEW as well. They work a much lighter schedule now. They don't have to do as many house shows, and because it's weekly TV as opposed to like regional, and you have to travel so much, so they don't take as many bumps. They're not taking as many bruises and bumps on their body, and because they are treated like athletes with such the kind of contracts they're treated with, their job is to look good and be in shape. So that's what they do. So you don't see as many. I'm not going to say there's none, but you don't see as many, dying from cocaine or cocaine and steroids and that kind of shit. So
Right. So has to get his hair highlighted, the tanning bed. Definitely not done in a very glamorous way. This is very dirty, dingy style burnout wrestling, unfortunately. Anything else to say about the death match? I mean, that's just I can't believe people staple each other just for a pop.
I mean, they do it hurts. I think that some of those things, they look worse than they actually are. Now, obviously, if you start stapling shit to your eye or to your tongue, but you put a
Mm.
staple in your back, it's going to hurt, but it's going to come out mostly clean. And in CCW, yeah, or ECW, these deathmatch places, they do a bunch of dumb shit because they're dumb. They're just dumb.
Yep. Yep. Never really got into ECW, and I think seeing what Mankind does at times is enough for me. So all
Bang
right.
bang.
Yeah, and Couch Jack. The stress of the match is too much, and hospitalized Randy. Didn't he have like a minor heart attack or something?
I think he had a full blown heart attack because he was supposed to retire after that, and that's kind of we transition to the next part of the movie. He's kind of in denial, and then he goes to the like the Legends autograph session, and he sees all the other wrestlers who are there are either
Mhm.
old or they're really injured and broken down, and he's like, oh, okay, I don't want to be these people.
Yeah.
And I think that's when he goes back to Cheeks, and he's talking to Marissa Tomei, and she tells him to try to fix things with his daughter.
Oh, okay. She suggests that. Interesting. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, because
it's
he
been
says
about a
that she
week since I
doesn't.
saw it, so some of those finer details are
Yeah, I mean,
brushing those
because we
up.
were gonna do this like a week and a half ago, but I do remember that she was like, "Hey, you should talk to her," and then he gets her to like help him go find something, and it kind of turns into like a little pseudo date, and even though they're not supposed to, and she leaves, so it's not a date kind of thing. But
Yeah. Um, One thing that stood out to me is like he's in this tiny trailer, and he has these big bandages like on him, trying to resolve get over like the hurt procedure. So yeah, he's really having to like rehab in this pretty shitty area, and he goes for a jog, just to like get his wits about him, and yeah, he just doesn't have the cardio for it after that. Wants to relive the old days through his little NES video game. He gets the neighborhood kid to play with so yeah. Yeah, he really needs to wants to connect with his daughter because yeah, not a whole lot's going right for him at this moment. And let's see. Oh yeah, so the date you had mentioned, they're kind of on a boardwalk, which was fairly picturesque, but also very run down at the same time. So definitely fits with the that
yeah, 'cause
running theme.
they went shopping and then to the boardwalk, and I guess the boardwalk he went with his daughter.
Oh
That's
right,
where
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So the date with Marissa Tomei, they go clothes shopping, and he convinces
Hmm.
her to get a beer with him because he gives her kid his action figure.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah, and
yeah,
so they go and have
yeah, pleads with her to do it, give him a chance.
and then they have like that kiss, and she's like, "No, I can't do this," and she guns the rest of the beer down and leaves, and
Hmm.
so that kind of has him in a, he's not feeling so great, but then he has the date, the get together with his kid, and they go, his adult kid, and they go and walk the boardwalk, and he talks about things from when she was a kid that she doesn't remember, and
Hmm.
they set up another date to go out, that
Yeah.
yeah, that later on he gets kind of in a fight with Marissa Tomei at the club, and goes to a wrestling show to watch, and ends up like doing some coke in the bathroom and hooking up with some chick in the bathroom, and
Who recognized him from whenever,
yeah, recognized him
from
from like her
whatever.
brother's, yeah, and so he ends up at like her house, and so he misses the entire date, and then his daughter basically tells him,
Never
I
wants to
think
see him
actually she
again.
does tell him to just go fuck himself, and that she never wants to see him again. So
Yeah, seems a little harsh, but I guess there's probably a long history of this. So I guess you just gotta we're picking it up this time around.
yeah,
All right. So the routine of the deli counter, it starts to really get to him, especially when he gets recognized. Recognizes him, and then he accidentally cuts himself, and yeah,
I don't
he's
think
out of
he
there at that point.
accidentally cuts himself. I think he intentionally cuts himself.
Oh, out of that like a little
Yeah, I think
rage
he
kind of moment.
intentionally does it so he has a reason to, because it looks like he just jams his finger in there on purpose, which is a fucking madman move.
Whew. Yeah, I didn't even think of it being like that. So whew,
Now,
that's
and maybe I'm wrong. So, like, I don't know, guys in chat here, tell us what you think about that spot. Do you think it's like Justin, where it was an accident, or like me, where he did it on purpose, and threw his hissy fit and threw blood all over the fucking grocery store?
it would be a wrestler thing to do. So I'm kind of vibing with that, and I like that one. All right, so at this point, he wants to risk his health and do this reunion match. It's kind of like a Sheik versus Hogan kind of feel to these two guys.
Yeah, because it would have been from the '80s, and it's the Ayatollah, and he was the big blonde
Hmm.
hero. So yeah, definitely that
Babyface.
kind of vibes for sure.
So we find out his girlfriend, she really does care about him, and leaves to catch his match there at the end. They pay tribute to the audience, the Ram, saying, I wouldn't be anywhere without you guys. So you guys, make me the Ram, essentially. So that is definitely a truth of the what wrestling is. Dives from the top rope for glory, maybe his last, but that's the life or the path he's chosen as a wrestler. Yeah, this is a really good movie to get back into. Like, I didn't expect like the whole relationship part to really draw me in nearly as much, but I was like totally sucked in, and this movie flew by. And I think the first time I saw this was like, oh gosh, when are they getting back to the wrestling already? But when you grow up and you get a little wiser about these dramas, you can let them bait the hook a little bit before you get back to the good stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed this a lot more than when I did when I was younger. Like, it's still not a movie where I want to sit down and be like, "Hey, I want to watch a movie. Let's watch this movie," because it is very depressing. It does give you that we're all 99.9% sure what happened at the end of this movie, but you don't know for sure. It kind of hit that Sopranos style, and I don't remember which one came first, but that Sopranos just fade to black. Who the fuck knows what happened ending? But I
Mhm.
definitely liked it more this time around than I remembered liking it when I was younger.
Yep, great characters and some good inside baseball stuff on wrestling for people to chew into. Yeah, wrestler's
And
good
and
time.
again, the
4 stars.
music, fucking sick.
I need to go back and listen to that because obviously, like when I do my notes, I'm just kind of flicking back through it. So a lot of times the audio cues.
Well, I mean,
get mi-
there's obviously Guns N' Roses, Welcome to the Jungle, but his normal music, which I cannot think of now, was a big '80s song. They had Rat, Round and Round. They had some other just like it was all just basically hair metal, but it was woven in very well, and it made sense that this guy whose heyday was in the '80s and is kind of living, trying to just stay in the '80s, that the music is going to be '80s. So yeah.
All right, our second movie tonight, Eyes Wide Shut, is a 1999 erotic drama film directed, produced, and co-written by Stanley Kubrick. It was based on a 1926 novella, Dream Story, transferring the story's setting from the 20th century Vienna to New York. The plot centers around a doctor, Tom Cruise, who is shocked when his wife, Nicole Kidman, reveals that she had contemplated cheating on him with the previous summer. So let's see. Kubrick obtained the filming rights for Dream Story in the 1960s, considering it a perfect film adaptation about sexual relations. Oh, lots of fun facts about this one, including this was Kubrick's last film. He died just before it was released on March 7th, 1999. So didn't get to see the final thing, the final product. A lot of conspiracy theories like the Illuminati might have got him or something, that kind of craziness.
Yeah.
Also has a record for like longest shoot because Kubrick's crazy and demands shoot after shoot after shoot. So yeah, why don't you read some of these fun facts and give me your thoughts?
Alrighty, so both Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman signed open-ended contracts, meaning they agreed to work on this project until Kubrick released them from it, however long that turned out to be. The password Fidelio, which is from the Latin root fidelis, meaning faithful, is the title of Beethoven's only opera. In the opera, Fidelio is a woman who disguises herself as a man to save her lover. Due to Kubrick's fear of flying, virtually the entire film was shot in and near London, despite it being set in New York City. Elaborate street sets built at Pinewood Studios were used for all of these scenes showing Tom Cruise walking around the city. Kubrick reportedly watched movies like Showgirls and Basic Instinct, also Fatal Attraction, during the editing phase to get the idea of how explicit the sex scenes in the movie could be and still be R rated.
So, um, yeah, despite this being kind of this like psychological sex drama, I do remember saying this quite a few times. It's the thing that really stands out to me is for some reason me and my friend John were really into like we got drunk and we watched this movie and like just for some reason like the orgy scene was like so immersive with like how my surround sound was like drumming and with the banging of the staff on the floor and stuff. So it's a pretty trippy scene. So it was kind of strange that me, my buddy, and father all got together and watched this at least once or twice. So well, what are your thoughts on this one?
Okay, so
He's
I
a pretty
watched
dumb
this.
character, which I'm sure you're not going to enjoy.
I mean, you saw my review. We'll get there. So I watched this at 15ish, 14, 15, 16, somewhere in that ballpark. So I'm gonna be real. All I remembered was that there were a lot of titties and the sex cult. All the other shit, walking around the city, being a doctor, all that shit, didn't remember. I legitimately thought there was so much more of the movie where they were in the mask and doing the sex cult stuff, which I
Yeah.
guess it kind of over time melded with all of like the projected memories that Tom Cruise was having of Nicole Kidman's fantasy. So he's, basically imagining this other guy fucking Nicole Kidman. So I mean, I guess they kind of probably just amalgamated over time together. But yes, Tom Cruise is very fucking stupid. Just go get some therapy or like go and fuck your hot wife. She didn't actually cheat on you. Like, and it's crazy. Like, I get that how in detail she went. It was probably not a nice thing to hear, but to think that you've been together for 9, 10 years and that she hasn't thought about sleeping with someone else at some point is a little kind of crazy that, we are still people. But whatever. He's dumb. They told him not to fuck around. He fucked around. Then they were like, hey, we're really telling you, don't fuck around. Like, stop now.
Basically, yeah.
I'm gonna be real. Like, I know that a lot of Kubrick movies are normally shot in England, and according to this is basically shot in England. They did a really good job building those sets because I really thought they were like walking like around New York. I will
Mhm.
say that like the filming style was very interesting, which I think was intentional. It was supposed to kind of look voyeuristic, but there were definitely times where it felt like you were watching a video from like a really nice public, like personal handheld camcorder kind of thing, like a really nice one, but still a camcorder, just the way that it was framed and edited, as opposed to this is a movie. Um, that you because those they all those look different. But I thought that was an interesting choice as far as the filming goes. And there's a couple of scenes where some of the dialogue like between Nicole and Tom, who are married, felt in real life and in the movie at this point. I don't know. It felt. I don't know. It didn't feel as natural as it could between two people who are both very good actors and were married. But for the most part, the dialogue and shit was fine too. It was just there was a couple of parts where I was like, this seems weird, and maybe that was intentional.
I definitely did. It's very stiff, which kind of gets them taken used to because you're used to like Tom Cruise being this really charismatic, likable guy, and he's kind of this like out of the loop kind of douche in this. Two pieces of music that do stand out for me is there's a part where you hear da 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 da. I think that's in the opening credits, and for some reason that's just this carnival kind of thing going on. And I guess it might be a little bit stemmed from like the original roots of the story being taking place in Vienna, and then there's that da-da-dum, you did a bad thing, ba-doom, boom,
Yeah.
boom. So and then obviously all the atmospheric stuff whenever they're in the orgy is yeah, I love how Kubrick just picks the right tunes in order to really kind of like bring you into what's going on with the story. um Watching back through this, I just how much of a key theme is with like how classes like Dr. Cruz, the good doctor, he has plenty of money, but he doesn't have like the clout to be part like the super elite.
Like
So
like
like he's
yeah, to
Mhm.
like normal people like you and I, he's rich as shit. Like he's rich. I mean, he's just throwing hundreds of dollars around willy nilly. His wife doesn't work. They live in this apartment in like Upper Greenwich Village or wherever he said it was. Like he's fucking rich, but he's not these motherfuckers rich. Like he's normal person rich. These people are like Elon Musk, Walton family rich kind of shit.
Yeah. What's the guy that had like an island and he was doing all that crazy shit,
You
and
about Jeffrey Epstein?
yeah, Epstein Island or whatever.
Yeah,
So
Epstein Island. Oh yeah, that kind of what it. Yeah, little Epstein Island going on there.
so
You
yeah.
and you know what? Saying that now, we're gonna. It's very different because this all seemed like this is a cult and there's consenting and it's adults and prostitutes and shit, but it's that people with power and money do this weird depraved shit. There feels like there could be some sort of parallel back to like Sallow. Like obviously that is more
Mm,
kidnapping and rape and child abuse, but it's still
yeah.
these
And still sex
really,
workers, so
yeah, it's still
probably.
really fucking rich people just doing weird depraved shit because they can, because who the fuck is gonna stop them?
Yeah. And there's actually some like if you the Da Vinci Code, the Dan Brown book, actually goes into a section on this movie, and he talks about like the significance of like the ritual, like how it's like a springtime rites kind of thing going on with the different mass and so forth. So I probably should have gone back just to kind of read into what it said there, but I mean, it's basically like an uber elite sex cult is what you see,
Yeah, it's
but it
definitely a sex
dressed up
cult.
with a lot of interesting imagery, even religious-esque imagery, I suppose, or you could infuse there. Yeah, we're not even on the cult. Yeah, that was just a theme. So the orgy scene, I should say. All right, the movie does a great job of feeling like claustrophobic. Like a lot of the times you look at the windows and it's all like flooded with different lights, and that really plays well into the whole Christmas going on in the background. But yeah, the whole time you're very focused on what the characters are thinking. Very little shots of like the outside world. Um, the lights are often blurred, giving it this real dreamy vibe, especially at like the party. Like they're walking down the hallway and like the background is very blurry. This very extravagant mansion house was reminding me a lot of Barry Lyndon. So a couple little other Kubrick slices in there that wouldn't surprise me if they're like, oh, this is kind of like the Barry Lyndon house. Oh, this is kind of like the 2001 bed. So stuff like that. So two college friends see each other. What Nick and or they're Nick and Nick, right? It's but
No, it's
Tom.
Nick.
Mhm.
It's Nick and Bill.
Oh, Bill is Dr. Bill. Okay.
Yeah, and Nick Nightingale.
Yep. Who's a jazz pianist. He used to be in medical school with them, dropped out, so he wants to catch up with them, and yeah, invites them to come out in the city and hear a gig at some point. So he thinks he's gonna take him up on that. Yeah, by the way, Tom is not very savvy, pretty dry and blunt kind of guy. Um, Not like this Hungarian guy that starts talking to Kidman, right?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, he thought him being foreign and speaking some with his accent, I guess, was going to get him laid. Oh yeah, come look at the little
The
museum of
tapestries.
statues up here. And
Yeah.
she's like, "Nah, B, I'm married."
Oh,
And
how
he's like,
tragic. Him
"Yeah,
drinking the rest of her drink was that was pretty forward.
yeah, that was pretty." I was like, "This isn't weird at all."
Meantime, Tom is leveraging his looks and charm to talk to some models. He's being kind of boyish in that moment, which they're vibing on for some reason. You notice a lot of the women in this movie look very similar. They're very all tall, and they all have about the same size chests. And yeah, did you pick up that a lot of the women kind of feel manufactured in this?
Except for Nicole, I mean, who is tall, but she's not as busty as a lot of the other women
Yeah,
were.
she definitely doesn't look nearly as plastic as all these other women.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
She especially with the little glasses, she was, I mean, Nicole Kidman's a very nice looking lady, but she was looking very fawn,
I
very
love that
fawny.
dress she wore to the party, the real tight lace like top. Yeah, that was pretty good, pretty good.
So
Okay.
this reminds me, since you brought this up earlier too, Do you remember when we were talking about when we did Dogville back in, I guess that was season 1? And you posited to me, did you think I would like Dogville better if the main character was Kirsten Dunst instead of Nicole Kidman, because Kirsten Dunst was an attractive woman? And I was like, well, Nicole Kidman is attractive, and I would just like to point that out.
Okay, that's fair. Kidman's not at the top of my pecking order, but I do think she's quite lovely. So not ScarJo for me, but
well, I mean, like, there's a lot of room to be attractive and not be fucking Scarlett Johansson. Let's be real.
Yeah. All right, so Tom gets called upstairs to check on an overdose situation. The woman there lying very naked, lifeless, after taking some coke and heroin or something. Again,
Yeah,
very
8-ball.
plastic. I mean, he's, you had, so let's see, the name of the director who plays that part, that's Sidney Pollack. Yeah, director of Tootsie. Anywho, yeah, he was a director friend of Kubrick, so it's kind of neat that he played this part. But yeah, he's like, putting on his overalls or whatever, and she's just, laying there hunched over in a chair, lifeless, and he's just like, fix her. So yeah, very unsympathetic to the situation. The naked bodies feel very clinical throughout. Wanted to cover her up. It's a
Which
hell
they
of a nice
did
bathroom. I
eventually.
didn't even realize it was a bathroom until that second scene. I'm like, oh, there's a toilet there.
There's a toilet and then like a whole separate, I think, bidet beside it, but then yeah, no,
Yeah.
that bathroom is like as big as my apartment. Like,
Oh. So after that, Tom and Nicole, they go home and they're sensual. They go home and fuck. But that look on her eye, there's something stewing, and that let's see. Okay, so they smoke some pot together and they get a little bit frank, and they have this kind of more
this is the next
intellectual
day.
talk about say again.
This is the next day. So they go home and fuck, and then he goes to work, and then they come back, and that's now where they're smoking the pot out of the Band-Aid container.
Right. And so they talk a lot about, like, who were you talking to at the party? You probably wanted to fuck them. And then there's like the psychology of like he kind of insinuates that, like, the guy was only talking to her because he wanted to get into her pants, and he's like, why, how dare you say that? You're so egotistical as a man to say that. And so they're kind of bickering back and forth about those kind of emotions. She picks on him that, even like yeah, you see people naked in the you're at a place of privilege, since he's a doctor, and like he has the advantage of, he could like manipulate a patient or whatever. And sure enough, we go to the doctor's office and he's examining some freaking model at first, but not all of his patients are models, just the first one there. But yeah, did you want to sink into this bickering back and forth as
I mean,
we get to see her in her white nightie?
like, it did really feel like she was picking a fight to pick a fight. But I mean, like, she was mad at him for flirting while she's, dancing with this guy, and looked like she was pretty close to going upstairs to sleeping with him. And like, to take, I mean, he was only talking to her because he wanted to sleep with her. Like, Tom Cruise's character was correct there. But then, like, when she was like, well, you didn't want to fuck those girls, and he's like, no, I'm in love with you and we're married and I wouldn't want to hurt you. And so she's like, only out of consideration for me. And it's like, well, I mean, like, it's not what he said. Like, she took a lot of things and he was just like, well, it's not this black and white, or it's not that simple, but essentially yes. And it just kind of kept spiraling until she went into that whole story about the sailor or the Navy men or whatever the previous summer. And it was like, this like felt, it wasn't like, oh, I want to get this off of my chest because I feel guilty. It was, I'm doing this to hurt you.
Yeah, I think she probably wanted him to like break up the encounter with the guy. He didn't. Then he's like, "Oh, I don't get jealous or whatever." He wants to play it cool, but she really jams the blade in a little further and definitely gets him thinking about this
and that
encounter all night long as
I don't
we
know that
start this Alice in Wonderland kind of escapade.
that feels like something that people who are young or who haven't been together for near a decade, because they said they've been together for 9 years. Like at 9 years, you're like, yeah, my wife's not gonna like cheat on me while we're here at this party together. And I mean, he did legitimately have to go up to the go help his buddy. Like he wasn't lying. Like he did some dumb shit, but for the most part, like he said, "Hey, this is what I was doing." That was what he was doing. So like I don't know. It felt she wanted him to be jealous, and I guess
Because I think
she
she was attracted to the guy and she wanted him to be jealous, and then she wanted to force the issue.
yeah. I mean, and again, you're human. The guy said the right things. He had the right accent and the swag or whatever. Like, of course, okay, she was attracted to him, but it's like you don't need to like rub that in your partner's face. Like that was a little much, and it definitely sent Tom Cruise down the spiral, down the rabbit hole, because he definitely went a little cuckoo, a little mad there for the rest of the movie. So,
So he gets called out to basically meet with the family of a patient that's died, and she makes a pass at him, and she's stuck in this apparently, loveless marriage and doesn't want to get dragged off of Michigan, and she wants to stay with the good doctor. But yeah, that's kind of an awkward encounter to kind of kick things off here, as he has a few unusual, I guess, encounters with women. And men, because I mean, shoot, he's walking down the street and we can see that he's definitely not the alpha male type, as this gang of like college guys kind of push him around and basically call him pussy, and he doesn't do much back.
I mean, also it was like 6 versus 1. There wasn't much he could do back, but yes, it is definitely he's just a dude, and they were a bunch of, like you said, drunk college frat boys or whatever, jocks, what
Mhm.
have you.
Okay, so then he gets picked up by kind of this nice looking hooker, prostitute. She's wearing kind of like these furs, so she looks pretty classy, kind of lady. They're flirting, and they end up in this pretty crummy apartment. So it's like very, very tiny. So it's kind of weird to hear them talk about like, how much he's going to pay her for sex in this tiny apartment. But Alice bails him out by giving him a little phone call. But and it turns out this is probably the best move. He probably didn't want to sleep with this random girl on the street because, yeah, she has,
As we find
well,
out later, yes.
yep. Um, so he pays her anyways, and then this is the point where he goes and talks to Nick at the jazz club. Nick is very intriguing. He spills the beans on this exclusive party that requires a password and a costume, and so the good
and
doctor,
that and
he's
that he is blindfolded while he plays.
oh, right, right. Oh, but the one time I did get a little peek, and oh my gosh,
God, the
yeah.
women are so hot.
All right. So next he must go to the rainbow, because I think earlier in the movie, didn't they say like, "Where's happiness?" It's like at the end of the rainbow, and so like the name of this costume place is the rainbow or whatever.
And then this
Um,
whole encounter is weird as shit too, because
yeah.
he's trying to leverage his being a doctor to try to get in, but then that guy no longer owned that place, and this other guy owned it, and he's willing to pay him $200 over the rental price. So again, he's rich, no problems with throwing
Yeah.
money at a problem. And
Throwing around his doctor's badge like he's in the FBI or something.
yeah, he's like, as you can see, I have an actual New York medical license. It's like, okay, cool deal, brah. Cool story, bro. But then you get this weird scene where like the costume designer's daughter, who is a very young Lily Sobieski, is like having some sort of sexual interaction with these two older Asian men, and they're going to call the
Hmm.
cops. And it's the whole, like, that whole thing is just like a fiasco. And
Yep. And Tom leaves, and he's just like, "Oh, so I'm just gonna let you lock those guys away." And okay, see ya.
See ya.
But not all is as it seems with that. We'll loop back around to that on the flip side. It's a little bit like Clockwork Orange, where you have like the characters that you set up on the front end, and then something happens, and then you reenact with them later on. Um, After your life-changing experience, of course. See, the camera continues to follow them. A lot of those like Christmas lights on the walls, and that whole like costume showcase room, which was pretty cool looking. The next day, the good doctor. Okay. Oh no. Next, the good doctor goes to the orgy party at this estate in the woods. Probably not a good idea to leave your taxi driver there at the front
So
door.
this is so we talk about like red flags going off. So first of all, the first thing when his boy was like, "Hey, I play blindfolded and it's at a different place every time, and you have to be in a mask and costume." See, all sorts of red flags should have been going off. Then when you get there in a taxi and there's like a Rolls Royce or whatever waiting at the gate to drive you up to the house because the house is that far off, and then the house looks like fucking Wayne Manor from the 89 Batman movie, like maybe you should turn the fuck around and not go in. And then once you get in and you see the shit that you're seeing, and this person comes up to you and is like, "Yo, get the fuck out. If you don't, you're gonna die." Maybe again, you should fucking leave.
Yeah, I like hearing your perspective on the dumb doctor and the curious cat doctor, I suppose.
A veterinarian, if you will.
Yeah, there you go. So the guy in the red robe, he had like that swingy thing that the Catholic folks have. So that kind of reminded me of some like religious aspects to this ritual. Yeah, you just go in and the whole like I'm not sure how your sound was for whenever you're watching this, but yeah, you're totally like enveloped in this like environment all of a sudden where like there's people in these robes and they have the costumes and the eerie music and all of their people get naked all of a sudden, and yeah, this it's pretty wild scene.
I mean, this whole thing where he's just walking through and there's people fucking and then there's people 69 but with their mask on, which feels like that would not be very conducive to 69ing. And
Yeah.
there's just people sitting around watching, and there's all sorts of like the men dominating the women dominating the men, like all sorts of shit
Yep.
going on.
Kind of reminded me of Amadeus. There's one character that kind of looked like the creepy guy from that. Let's see here. Yeah, it's kind of it was interesting to me how like he's like so out of place that like some random people upstairs look down and they're like, "Huh, who's that?" Not give him a little nod or whatever. And then yeah, he's very, very much out of place for reasons beyond us. But I mean, we're pretty taken aback just like he is as we're going into this pretty wild core of hell, I guess you could say, in terms of the story arc. A little sappy when she warns him that he must get out of there, but then shit gets definitely real when they march him out in front and they're like, "Remove your mask, remove your clothes." And then she basically offers her the prostitute that's been following around and warning him offers herself up as a in
She
tribute, I
offered,
guess.
yeah, she says, "I will redeem him."
Hmm.
Yeah, and then they're like, "There's no saving her," and next thing you know, he's back at home, and then he's trying. They basically tell him, "Don't speak to anybody about this. Don't talk about anything. If you
Hmm.
do, it will be bad for you and your family." So he goes and tries to find Nick at Nick's hotel.
Well, actually, he goes home first, right?
Yeah, he goes home, wakes up, hides his mask and shit, and then
Yep, filled with guilt. Alice actually wakes up and she finds out that that this whole like fantasy that she was teasing with him, she actually had a dream about it, and it
And
was
turned
actually a
into a
nightmare, and she
nightmare.
felt like totally humiliated by the situation. So, as like cocky as she was about like like fantasizing about this on the back end, she was far less secure than what she her teasing made it out to be. Which, I mean, she has a right to do. He didn't have a right to go on this little sex exapade.
Which,
All right.
I mean, I guess devil's advocate, he didn't know it was going to be a sex escapade, but once he got there, he definitely stayed and should not have. But yes, they have that whole thing, and he is now even like more driven insane by this. He's continuing to think about and imagining the sailor
Hmm.
doing all these things to his wife. So he goes to the club. The club is closed. He goes to the diner next to it. He
Hmm.
leverages his medical license and doctor status again
Yeah.
to
Hmm.
get the information. You get there and you find out that his buddy, the musician, has checked out of his hotel under some pretty sus circumstances with other men there that were
Some big
huge.
guys escorted him out.
Yeah,
That's
big guys who
the pin
yeah.
clicky guy from Goldeneye was
Oh, you mean Alan Cummings? You mean Nightcrawler?
yeah,
Yeah.
that guy too, Boris. Man, the last hour certainly lingers on as Tom goes looking for Nick, and then who was forcibly removed from the hotel. Goes back to the costume shop, the end of the rainbow, and all of a sudden everything is fine between the daughter and those two guys. So what the hell was
And
the
mask
situation
is
there?
the mask is gone, and then the owner of the costume shop is like, "Hey, if you ever need anything," as he's like insinuating, "Hey, I will whore my daughter out to you."
Yeah, exactly.
Not subtly
Nope.
at all.
Tom is still hung up on the dream. He goes out to the property again to get some answers. Again, he's told to fuck off. They're even ready with the freaking letter at the gate. This guy's gonna probably show up again. Tell him to fuck off.
Yes,
Uh,
they're
he-
and they have his name, and you don't know how they have his name and shit. They're just like Dr. Bill Harford, and it was more eloquent than fuck off, but that's what it was. It was fuck
yeah,
off.
he's staring at him pretty hard. He tries to go see the prostitute again. And ends up flirting with her roommate, which is pretty
I mean, he
strange.
was
And
doing a
then
little bit more than flirting. He was definitely had like untied her top and was had them hands on her titties or somewhere because she was getting a little hot before she was like, "Hey, we need to have a convo."
mm. All right, so yeah, so he finds out that what's her name is what, Domino or something,
Domino, yep.
and she's dead. She was involved with a drug overdose at a
No,
hotel
no,
or
no, no.
something.
Nope, 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 nope. Domino got AIDS. She got the blood work that morning and was HIV positive. Mandy is the one who was dead in the hotel from the drug overdose.
Okay,
The one who
who he thinks
helped
helped him at the party.
who he helped at the party, and she was the one who we find out in a little while was the one who helped him at the sex cult.
Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's come back together for me now again.
yeah.
Which it's interesting, like totally being lost on those details the first time as like a college kid, and then like they all click so much easier into place whenever you see the big picture.
And
Um,
again, when he goes to see her body, he leverages his medical license again, like he's a fucking FBI agent.
I'm an FBI agent. All right. Yeah, goes to see the dead body,
Great
cold and
line.
impersonal again. He meets up with the party host and tries to get okay, so he meets up with the Sidney Pollack guy again, and this is the part where
Ziegler.
yeah, and oh, this is yeah, he was really trying to get him to realize he needs to fuck off. He's kind of insinuating this whole you know situation during the orgy might have been like a setup or whatever to kind of, I guess, maybe make him chill out about the fact that that he just saw this girl dead, that he believes was involved with all that. Um, yeah, it really talks about like there's people way above you on this. You're out of your league kind of talk. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
any thoughts on that conversation?
oh, I mean, yeah, that dude was so full of shit because he's like, yeah, that girl just went home or after she saved you, they just fucked her 6 ways to Sunday, but she went home alive. And your boy Nick, yeah, they beat him up, but they put him back on a plane to Seattle. He's okay. And it's like, I don't believe you for a motherfucking second, fam. Like, I believe that you probably kept this doctor alive because he's your friend, but his friend, the fucking jazz pianist, nah, that dude's dead. That dude's dead as fuck. Which I guess is open ended and left for interpretation, but that's how I interpret it. That dude's dead as fuck.
Probably, especially with Cruz getting followed around by Baldy on the street there.
Oh, yeah, right. Dude's just not even subtle about it. He's just like, yeah, I'm following you. What the fuck are you going to do about it?
Yeah. All right. Very creepy when we see the mask just suddenly appears on the bed as he breaks down and like basically admits, what he's been up to with his wife there. And yeah, they're in a pretty low spot. As they're like, oh gosh, we just kind of got over all this. They suck it up and go Christmas shopping, and that great final line. I'm just gonna have to go and get over it. And that's
Yep.
Eyes Wide Shut.
That is Eyes Wide Shut. Definitely not legs wide shut because they were definitely wide open. But
Yeah, funny to think how dense this movie is, but most people, I mean, this is, everybody knows this for the orgy scene, and yeah, it's really that polarizing, but I think it works in terms of being this really strange payoff to this Alice in Wonderland-esque adventure that he finds himself on after getting into a spat with his wife over jealousy and sex. So yeah, I think we nailed it pretty good. I was trying not to slightly before I was like, hey, we need to do the podcast. I had listened to a pretty long analysis, kind of reminding me, but they got really deep into yeah, Dr. Bill and him using his clout with as a doctor and so forth, and some of his thoughts throughout the experience. So pretty good breakdown there. But I think I mean, Joey, I don't think me and you couldn't cover something the way somebody else covers it if we tried. So there we go.
I mean, we got to do it our own way, and we got to be Joey and Justin, the average Joes.
Yeah. You get into that sex call, you turn around. Joey wants you to turn around. Justin wants you to go see what's in the next room.
Yeah, no, that is 20-year-old Joey. Yes, 20-year-old Joey is walking the fuck into the sex cult, and we're just like, all right, we are partaking. Current Joey is like, nah, fam, this is not right. I'm Audi 5000. Like, nah, G.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to give it a 5. I mean, there's nothing I don't like about it. I mean, the second half is drawn out a little bit, but I'm still, sucked into all these conversations. Sometimes not sticking with me nearly as much as they should when it comes to these two girls that end up dead. Or no, let's see, Domino's sick and the other one's dead. So Domino actually.
As far as we know, Domino is alive. Yes.
All right, and so you're rating 3 stars on this one?
3 stars. I do not think it is a bad movie. It's definitely more watchable than some of Kubrick's other things, if nothing else, because there's nice people to look at. But and it's shot very well. But I don't like Kubrick's style, and I don't have any desire to ever watch this movie again. Like, it's fucking 2 hours and 45 minutes, and yeah, it feels 2 hours and 45 minutes, and yeah, it's just not for me.
I think the first time I did watch this and The Shining, the first time I watched, I saw it at like midnight, 1 o'clock, and then you go through that 2 hours, and it's like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, kind of that weary, like witching hour after watching something weird like this. So, moments like that definitely help this kind of stuff seal in for me. Um, yeah, love Kubrick movies. We watch so many on the show now. Gosh, we've seen The Killing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Clockwork,
Clockwork, Full Metal Jacket, Eyes Wide
2001.
Shut Now. We did Barry Lyndon, right?
We have not done Barry Lyndon.
Oh, I thought I
I
recommended
mean,
that.
I mean, yes, we have totally done Barry Lyndon.
Because Joey wants me to forget that we're talking about this and move on to what we're actually going to watch next time, right?
I just don't want you to be like, yes, I want to force you to watch Barry Lyndon because I don't have any desire to watch that movie at all.
All right. So, to kind of give myself an incentive to stay on the ball, get these movies watched, and have another podcast before another year passes by, I think we should watch the new Paul Thomas Anderson flick, One Battle After Another, with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Okay. How new are we talking?
It just started streaming, or it's
Okay.
just like just went on demand.
On demand. Okay. But not actually streaming. So just pay to play. Got you.
Yeah, pay to play right currently. I'm not sure when it'll if or when it makes that switch. It's an artsy movie, so I'm not sure. I think
Well, yeah.
Nosferatu was also on my big board. Um, yeah, want to see the PTA flick? What'd you
I've
pick?
seen Nosferatu. You will probably enjoy it, I would assume. I liked it. It's a little artsy for me. If I was going to watch a newfangled vampire movie again, I would definitely watch Sinners. That would be the
Okay,
one because that movie bangs. Um all right,
what'd you
so
pick?
we're going in a completely different direction. We're going to go with this movie by a little known director by the name of John Woo. Uh,
Oh,
Heroes Shed No Tears. So this
huh,
is
okay.
not a John Woo Chow Yun Fat collab. This is one of his
Have you seen
earlier
this?
action movies. No, I have not.
Okay,
Um,
cool.
I kind of had to scramble. I was just focused on other stuff and we hadn't recorded in so long. And I just was like, I don't know what the fuck to pick. And so I just kind of went through the watch list. And this is on a bunch of streaming services like Arrow, Criterion, Tubi. It's on a bunch of shit. So I was like, cool, we can access this easily. So let's give it a go.
Right on. All right, well, we better wrap this thing up. My kids are going to be telling me to watch Stranger Things here in about 30 minutes or so. But yeah, it was awesome reviving the show. And yeah, check us out, the Average Joe's Movie Clubcast at gmail.com. So, Joey, why do we talk about movies for hours on the internet podcast?
Because we love to do it and we have a great time. And
We loved it so much after hiatus, we came back and did it again.
we
So
did it again. Yeah. So hopefully it's not a year again. Hopefully it'll just be another month or so. Maybe
hopefully I
next.
can revive the front half of this show, hopefully. So fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Alrighty. Y'all have a good night, everybody.
Later, guys. Bye.